This is the view looking north from Blackcap, a landmark in the South Downs. From here in May 1264, troops looked down on East Chiltington on their way to fight Henry III at the Battle of Lewes. The hamlet has remained largely untouched by development since then, but now faces the obliteration of its rural character. 750 years after the first Battle of Lewes, the area is gearing up for another battle, one which will decide whether future generations will still be able to enjoy this lovely rural vista. Eton College wants to desecrate this view by building a new town in this rare and beautiful landscape. It would change the area beneath the Downs forever, turning it into yet another Sussex commuter town, spewing traffic into the nearby lanes and villages and taking this green space away from us all. Will you help us stop this destruction? Will you help us win another Battle of Lewes, the Battle of the Eton New Town? Eton College and their land promoter, Welbeck Land, are proposing to build 3,000 houses or more in a new town right next to the South Downs National Park on 500 acres of farmland owned by Eton in East Chiltington. One of the most sparsely populated parishes in Sussex, it has about 150 households, plus a village pub and an ancient church. Shops, schools and other services are accessed by residents by car via pretty single-track lanes that are popular with riders, walkers and cyclists, and have been especially valued during the COVID lockdowns by those who live in nearby towns. The proposal would effectively join the villages of Plumpton, East Chiltington and South Chailey into one large settlement that would inevitably grow and spread on the doorstep of the South Downs National Park. Let's take a closer look at the site. Here are a few landmarks for you to keep in mind as we do so. This is North Barnes Farm. This is part of Plumpton that can be seen from the site. This is the location of an avenue of ancient oaks. And here is the boundary of the South Downs National Park. This is an aerial view of the western portion of the site, looking northwest towards Plumpton. You can see the farm, North Barnes Farm. There's Plumpton in the distance on the left, and there's that line of beautiful old oak trees. This is the view from a similar location, looking towards the South Downs. You can see the same distinctive oak trees in the foreground, Plumpton and the racecourse in the midground towards the right, and here's the boundary of the South Downs National Park. Beyond the obvious beauty of the area and its close relationship with the South Downs, one other thing should be apparent to you straight away. There is no infrastructure serving this site. None. No main roads, sewers, electricity, water or telecommunication supply. This is the ultimate greenfield site, remote from main road connections and with few local employment opportunities. Everything associated with a new town would have to be created from scratch in a building process that would probably take decades and have a devastating effect on the local wildlife and watercourses, on the rural identity and character of the surrounding villages, and impacting the South Downs National Park. At a conservative estimate, the Eton New Town would add 3.5 million car journeys a year to the local lanes. The site is remote from main roads and has few local sources of employment. Traffic from it would inevitably be funneled into existing hotspots in the area, on the routes to Brighton, Lewes, Burgess Hill and Haywards Heath, via the A23, the A27, the A272 and 275, and through local villages on lanes inside and outside the national park. The narrow local lanes leading from the site to main roads and nearby villages are already choked at rush hour. Drivers use them as rat runs when the level crossings are closed. The railway services are at capacity and are no substitute for cars. More traffic will get pumped into the neighbouring villages that already face gridlock at busy times. What would the impact of a new town be on the local chalk streams and the rare sea trout that spawn in them? All those additional buildings and hard surfaces will result in more runoff, increased flooding, and pressure on an already overstretched water treatment and sewage system. And what about the lost farmland and the damage to the ecology in an area right next door to the South Downs National Park? A green space with ancient woodlands and hedgerows, home to a wide range of rare and beautiful plants and animals. Once this is built on, it's lost forever. After all we've been through during the COVID lockdowns, and with the climate crisis hanging over us, why are we even considering burying the foot of the Downs in buildings, concrete and traffic? We're told we need the houses and they must go here. Why? Local people and politicians rejected that conclusion in the last Lewes District local plan. A similar proposal was turned down by Lewes District Council and the South Downs National Park Authority a few years ago. The same geographic, economic and landscape considerations still apply. The latest population forecasts show fewer people in the area than anticipated, so it makes even less sense to just build with no thought of the consequences. And we all know these houses won't be truly affordable or go to the local people who really need them. People from London looking to live in the countryside will pay big prices to move in, except there'll be no countryside for them to enjoy. What's happened to government promises about respecting local people's right to decide planning issues, about levelling up, about dealing with the climate crisis, and about not building on greenfield sites? If someone on the street walked up to you and said, "Here's an idea for you. Let's build a new town and put it right next door to a national park. And we'll build it from scratch on a massive greenfield site in an unspoilt rural hamlet with no direct connection to main roads, no shops, no schools, no mains drainage, and limited sources of employment. But it does have beautiful green spaces, trout streams, country lanes, and ancient woodlands and hedges. We'll bring thousands of houses and millions of additional car journeys into the area, blighting roads in the surrounding towns and villages. By the way, there's very little chance that any of the houses will be really affordable, and it's all going to take a couple of decades or more to get built. So if you need a new home now, it won't help you. What would you say? It's absurd. Unless, of course, you are a landowner or promoter who stands to make hundreds of millions of pounds by gaining planning permission. In 2009, Eton's land promoter Welbeck said their objective was to obtain planning consents for farmers to increase the value of each acre from £5,000 to more than £2 million in parts of Sussex. Just think of the effect of that on the cost of buying a home. With your help, we can overturn this absurdity and preserve this precious place for all of us and for the wildlife who call this place home. If you do nothing else, please respond to the Lewes District Council's current consultation on the policy issues and options that will form the basis of the new Lewes District Plan. That way, you can make sure the Council knows your views about the idea of putting a new town in the Low Weald. By taking 5 minutes to respond to one question in the consultation, you can help us stop the Eton New Town. Go to our website and follow the links to the consultation form that you will find there. Comment on just one question, 3.2. You can speak to one of us today about how to do this, and you can pick up our flyer so you can take our advice home with you. Thank you for your support.